In this video, we will learn about variables. You might have already heard about variables in mathematics. There, you used to find the value of the unknown variable. In Java, a variable is the basic unit of storage. You can better understand by considering variable as a box, which is used to store some value. Now, this value can be anything: an integer, a decimal number, a character, a word, etc. For storing a value in the box, you need to ask for a box from the memory. You can do this by declaring a variable. When you ask for a box, you need to tell what type of value you want to store in that box. This is called the data type of that variable. You also need to name that box so that you can use it whenever you want. So, a variable is defined by the combination of a data type and an identifier, that is the name of the variable. If you want to store an integer value, you use the keyword int, which stands for integer, followed by the name of the variable. Now there are certain rules which you will need to follow while naming a variable. We will discuss these rules later in the same video. Similarly, for storing a decimal value, we use float. For a character value, we use char, and for storing a string, that is a word or a line, we use string. Suppose I want to store the roll number of a student, which is an integer, so I will declare an int variable and name this variable roll number. Don't forget to terminate this variable declaring statement by a semicolon. Now, to store some value in this variable, we write the variable name roll number equal to 1. Here equal to is assigning the value 1 to this variable roll number. You can write these two statements in a single line. Now if you want to see what value is stored in a variable, simply write the variable name here within the parentheses in system.out.println. Now run this program and you can see the value of this variable displayed here. Now if you want to store the total number of students, you need to declare another variable. Since number of students is an integer value, we declare another integer variable. You can declare two or more variables together by separating them using comma, like this. Now, to print this on the output screen, we write same statement again. Then run it. You can now see these two integer values, but they are meaningless until we specify what these values are. So I will write what these values are before printing them. Here plus symbol appends the value stored in this variable to this line and displays it on the output screen. Now run it to see the output. You might be thinking that can we assign an integer value to a float variable? Or in general, is it possible to assign a value of one type to a variable of another type? The answer is yes, you can. But all types are not compatible. We will have a look at this concept in the later videos. Now let us have a look at the rules for naming the variables. All variable names must begin with either a letter of the alphabet or an underscore or a dollar sign. Although beginning with an underscore or dollar is discouraged. After the first initial letter, variable names may contain letters and the digits 0 to 9. The variable name can be of any length, but just don't get carried away with it, because it is you who will have to type this name again and again whenever required. As I already told you that Java is case sensitive, so these three name variables are different. No spaces or special characters are allowed. You cannot use a Java keyword for a variable name. For example, int, char are invalid variable names. It is advised that you should always name your variables sensibly instead of just choosing a random name, because then it is easy to remember and it also increases the understandability of your code. Have a look at the list of keywords in Java. These are 50 in number. You cannot use any of these as your variable names. And no need to learn these words. The compiler will give an error if you try using them as variable names. We will get familiar with each of these keywords as and when required.